Question 1. An insurance adjuster is assessing a claim for a commercial property that suffered significant fire damage. The building owner claims the property was valued at $1.5 million before the fire. The adjuster determines that the cost to rebuild the property is estimated at $1.2 million. Which of the following statements is the most accurate regarding the adjuster's decision? A. The adjuster should approve the claim for $1.5 million because that was the insured value. B. The adjuster should approve the claim for $1.2 million based on the replacement cost method. C. The adjuster should approve the claim for $1.5 million as it's the insured value without considering the cost of rebuilding. D. The adjuster should approve the claim for $1.2 million and reject the insured value of $1.5 million as the cost to rebuild is the only valid consideration. Answer: B. The adjuster should approve the claim for $1.2 million based on the replacement cost method. Explanation: in commercial property claims, the adjuster should rely on the replacement cost method when determining the value of damages. The insured value, $1.5 million, does not necessarily reflect the actual cost to rebuild the property. Wyoming law and typical insurance practices prioritize replacement cost over insured value unless specific policy terms dictate otherwise. E.g., in the case of underinsurance, this ensures that the property owner receives compensation that accurately reflects the cost to restore the property to its pre-loss condition. Thus, the $1.2 million is the correct amount to approve based on the rebuild cost. Question 2. In Wyoming, an adjuster is investigating a property damage claim where the insured's property suffered water damage due to a leaking pipe. The policyholder has a homeowner's policy with a $1,000 deductible. The total damage assessment for the water loss amounts to $3,500. Which of the following is the correct action for the adjuster? A. The adjuster should deduct the $1,000 deductible and approve the claim for $2,500. B. The adjuster should approve the claim for $3,500 as the deductible does not affect the payout. C. The adjuster should recommend the policyholder increase the deductible to reduce future claims. D. The adjuster should deny the claim because the deductible exceeds the loss amount. Answer: A. The adjuster should deduct the $1,000 deductible and approve the claim for $2,500. Explanation: in Wyoming, as per standard homeowners insurance policies, the deductible is subtracted from the total damage amount. Therefore, if the damage is assessed at $3,500 and the deductible is $1,000, the adjuster will approve the claim for $2,500. Deductibles are part of the policyholder's responsibility before the insurer pays out any claim. This is a basic feature of property insurance contracts which ensures that the insured shares in the cost of minor claims. Option B is incorrect because the deductible must be applied. Option C is irrelevant in this context, and option D is incorrect because the deductible does not affect whether the claim is approved. It only reduces the payout. Question 3, scenario-based. Mr. Thompson is a public adjuster in Wyoming and he's handling a claim for a client whose commercial property was damaged by a storm. The property has a commercial general liability policy. The policyholder claims that the storm caused both property damage and some third-party bodily injury when a part of the building collapsed. Mr. Thompson needs to ensure proper coverage for both damage types. Which of the following actions should Mr. Thompson take? A. Mr. Thompson should only focus on the property damage portion of the claim, as bodily injury is usually covered separately under health insurance. B. Mr. Thompson should file 2 separate claims. One for the property damage under the property policy and one for bodily injury under the commercial general liability policy. C. Mr. Thompson should focus solely on the bodily injury claim, as this is the more significant loss. D. Mr. Thompson should deny the bodily injury portion of the claim, as injuries from structural collapse are not typically covered under commercial general liability policies. Answer: B. Mr. Thompson should file 2 separate claims, one for the property damage under the property policy and one for bodily injury under the commercial general liability policy. Explanation: in Wyoming and in general insurance practice, different types of coverage apply to different types of losses. Property damage is covered under the property insurance policy, while bodily injury claims are typically covered under a commercial general liability (CGL) policy. The adjuster should file 2 separate claims, one for each type of loss. In this scenario, the bodily injury resulting from the structural collapse falls under the CGL policy, while the property damage will be handled by the property insurance policy. This ensures that both claims are processed according to the appropriate policy coverages. Option A is incorrect because bodily injury is not handled by health insurance in this case. Option C is incorrect because both types of damages are significant and need separate handling. Option D is incorrect because bodily injury caused by structural collapse is generally covered under the commercial general liability policy. Question 4. An adjuster is handling a claim for a homeowner's property that was damaged due to a fire. The insured's policy has a replacement cost provision. However, after inspecting the damage, the adjuster finds that the actual cash value (SCV) of the property is $150,000, while the replacement cost is $200,000. The homeowner has received an advance payment of $100,000. How should the adjuster proceed with the final claim settlement? A. The adjuster should settle the claim for the full replacement cost of $200,000. B. The adjuster should subtract the $100,000 advance from the replacement cost and pay the remaining $100,000. C. The adjuster should pay $150,000 as that represents the ACV and the replacement cost is irrelevant. D. The adjuster should deny the claim due to the property's overvaluation at $200,000. Answer B. The adjuster should subtract the $100,000 advance from the replacement cost and pay the remaining $100,000. Explanation: when a homeowner's insurance policy includes replacement cost coverage, the insured is entitled to receive the cost to replace the damaged property minus the deductible. In this case, the replacement cost is $200,000, but the insured already received a $100,000 advance. Therefore, the adjuster should pay the remaining $100,000 to complete the settlement. The actual cash value ACV would only apply if the policy had an ACV provision, not a replacement cost provision. Therefore, option A is incorrect because the advance must be considered. Option C is incorrect because ACV does not apply here, and option D is incorrect because the overvaluation of the property does not apply to the claim settlement process. Question 5. A claims adjuster is handling an auto insurance claim where the insured's vehicle was damaged in an accident. The vehicle's market value before the accident was $12,000, but is now worth $6,000 after the damage. The insured's policy includes collision coverage with a $500 deductible. What is the most likely payout from the insurer? A. The adjuster should pay the full $12,000 as the insured's vehicle was worth that amount before the accident. B. The adjuster should pay $5,500, accounting for the $6,000 damage minus the $500 deductible. C. The adjuster should pay $6,000 as that is the current market value of the car. D. The adjuster should deny the claim as the vehicle's value has decreased significantly. Answer B. The adjuster should pay $5,500, accounting for the $6,000 damage minus the $500 deductible. Explanation: in a collision claim, the insurer generally pays the cost to repair or replace the vehicle subject to the deductible. In this case, the insured's vehicle is worth $6,000 after the damage, and the deductible is $500. Therefore, the insurer would pay $5,500, $6,000 minus the $500 deductible. The insured is responsible for the deductible amount, and the insurer will only pay the remaining amount after deducting that sum. Option A is incorrect because the insurer pays for the damage, not the pre-loss value of the car, and option C is incorrect because the deductible must be applied. Option D is incorrect because the insurer will still cover the damage minus the deductible, even if the vehicle's value has decreased. Question 6. Scenario-based. Mr. Adams is a claims adjuster for an independent firm in Wyoming. He is handling a claim for a commercial client whose business suffered a major loss of inventory due to a fire. The policyholder has provided an inventory list, but the adjuster suspects that some of the items listed may be inflated. Mr. Adams decides to investigate the claim by verifying the inventory and obtaining receipts. What is the best course of action for Mr. Adams? Mr. Adams should approve the claim based on the inventory list and avoid further investigation as the policyholder provided the list. B. Mr. Adams should contact the insurer to approve the claim based on the inventory list without verifying it. C. Mr. Adams should deny the claim until the policyholder can provide additional documentation for all inventory items. D. Mr. Adams should proceed with verifying the inventory by obtaining receipts or other proof of loss before making a decision. Answer: D. Mr. Adams should proceed with verifying the inventory by obtaining receipts or other proof of loss before making a decision. Explanation: as an independent adjuster, Mr. Adams has a responsibility to investigate the validity of the claim thoroughly. This includes verifying the inventory loss to ensure that the policyholder's claim is legitimate. While an inventory list is a helpful document, The adjuster should not rely solely on it without verification, particularly if there are concerns about inflation. In Wyoming, an adjuster is expected to act impartially and in good faith, ensuring that fraudulent claims are detected and not paid out. Option A is incorrect because the adjuster cannot simply approve a claim based on the provided list without verification. Option B is incorrect because the adjuster should not approve the claim without verifying the evidence. Option C is too extreme and may be inappropriate without first allowing the policyholder a chance to provide proof. Question 7. An adjuster is reviewing a workers' compensation claim for an employee who was injured on the job. In Wyoming, the employee claims that the injury occurred while performing routine work duties. However, the employer disputes the claim, stating that the injury occurred outside of working hours. Which of the following actions should the adjuster take? A. The adjuster should automatically deny the claim due to the employer's dispute about the timing of the injury. B. The adjuster should approve the claim, as workers' compensation claims are always approved regardless of the timing. C. The adjuster should investigate the claim, gather evidence, and determine whether the injury occurred within the scope of employment before making a decision. D. The adjuster should approve the claim but reduce the payout since the injury occurred outside working hours. Answer C. The adjuster should investigate the claim, gather evidence, and determine whether the injury occurred within the scope of employment before making a decision. Explanation. In Wyoming, as in other states, workers' compensation claims are based on whether the injury occurred within the scope of employment. The adjuster must thoroughly investigate the claim by gathering evidence, including witness statements, medical reports, and any other relevant documentation to determine whether the injury occurred during work hours or while the employee was performing work-related duties. The employer's dispute about the timing does not automatically invalidate the claim, so the adjuster should not deny it outright. Option B is incorrect because workers' compensation claims are not automatically approved, especially when there is a dispute about the circumstances. Option D is incorrect because the adjuster cannot reduce the payout without first verifying that the injury was work-related. Question 8. A public adjuster in Wyoming is handling a claim for water damage to a commercial building caused by a burst pipe. The adjuster has determined that the building's replacement cost is $500,000, but the insured only has coverage for $400,000. The insured is unhappy with the payout and insists that the full replacement cost should be covered. What should the adjuster do? A. The adjuster should settle the claim for $400,000 as it reflects the insured's coverage limit. B. The adjuster should offer to pay the remaining $100,000 out of pocket to satisfy the insured. C. The adjuster should deny the claim because the coverage is insufficient to cover the replacement cost. D. The adjuster should approve the full $500,000 as the insured should not be penalized for insufficient coverage. Answer A. The adjuster should settle the claim for $400,000 as it reflects the insured's coverage limit. Explanation. In cases where the insured's policy coverage limit is less than the replacement cost of the property, the adjuster is required to settle the claim for the amount of coverage available. In this case, the insured has coverage for $400,000, so the adjuster can only pay up to that amount even though the actual replacement cost is higher. This is a typical scenario where the insured may be underinsured and it is the insured's responsibility to ensure adequate coverage. Option B is incorrect because the adjuster cannot pay out of pocket to cover the difference between the coverage and replacement cost. Option C is incorrect because the adjuster must settle based on the available coverage, not deny the claim outright. Option D is incorrect because the adjuster is bound by the policy's terms and cannot exceed the coverage limit. Question 9. An insured has a home insurance policy in Wyoming with a $1,000 deductible. The home sustained $7,500 worth of damage from a hailstorm. How much will the insurer pay after applying the deductible? A. $7,500. B. $6,500. C. $1,000. D. $8,500. Answer B. $6,500. Explanation. When a deductible applies, the insured must pay the amount out of pocket before the insurer will cover the remainder of the damage. In this case, the total damage is $7,500 and the deductible is $1,000. Therefore, the insurer will pay $7,500. 1,000 equals $1,500. Question 10. A claims adjuster is reviewing a claim for theft under a homeowner's insurance policy in Wyoming. The insured claims that personal items worth $5,000 were stolen from their home. The policy has a $2,000 coverage limit for theft of personal property. Will the insurer pay A. $5,000, B. $2,000, C. $7,000, D. $0, because theft is not covered under the policy. Answer B. $2,000. Explanation: the policy has a limit for theft of personal property, and in this case that limit is $2,000. Although the total loss is $5,000, the insurer will only pay up to the coverage limit, which is $2,000. Question 11, scenario-based. An adjuster is reviewing a business interruption insurance claim for a Wyoming-based restaurant that had to close for 3 weeks due to a fire. The restaurant claims it lost $50,000 in income during this period. The policy has a $20,000 limit for business interruption losses. What should the adjuster do? A. Pay the full $50,000, as that is the amount claimed by the restaurant. B. Pay $20,000, as that is the policy's limit for business interruption losses. C. Deny the claim, as the restaurant did not sustain physical damage to the building. D. Pay $30,000, as it represents the difference between the policy limit and the claimed amount. Answer B. Pay $20,000, as that is the policy's limit for business interruption losses. Explanation: business interruption insurance covers lost income due to a covered peril, but the policy may have a limit on how much can be paid. In this case, the policy limit for business interruption losses is $20,000, so the adjuster will pay that amount even though the restaurant claimed $50,000 in lost income. Question 12. A commercial property insurance policy in Wyoming covers up to $1 million in property damage, but the insured has an outstanding mortgage on the property of $200,000. In the event of a total loss, what is the most likely payout to the insured? A. $1 million. B. $800,000. C. $200,000. D. $1,200,000. Answer B. $800,000. Explanation: in the event of a total loss, the insurer will first pay the mortgage lender to satisfy the outstanding loan. After the mortgage is paid, any remaining coverage will be paid to the insured. In this case, the insured has $1 million in coverage and the mortgage is $200,000. The insurer will pay $800,000 to the insured after the mortgage is satisfied. Question 13. A commercial general liability (CGL) policy covers bodily injury, property damage, and personal injury claims. A business in Wyoming faces a lawsuit from a customer who slipped and fell in the store. The customer is claiming $100,000 in damages for medical costs and pain and suffering. The policy has a $1 million limit per occurrence. What is the maximum the insurer will pay for this claim? A. $100,000. B. $1 million. C. $100,000 plus any other claims the business faces. D. The insurer will pay nothing as the policy excludes bodily injury claims. Answer B. $1 million. Explanation: a general liability policy covers bodily injury, and in this case the claim for $100,000 in medical costs and pain and suffering is within the coverage provided by the CGL policy. Since the policy has a $1 million limit per occurrence, the insurer will pay up to that limit for the claim, including any additional legal costs or damages. Question 14. A homeowner's policy in Wyoming has a $500,000 limit for dwelling coverage and a $10,000 limit for personal property. After a storm, the homeowner files a claim for $200,000 in property damage and $15,000 in personal property loss. How much will the insurer pay? A. $200,000 for property damage and $10,000 for personal property loss. B. $200,000 for property damage and $15,000 for personal property loss. C. $500,000 for property damage and $10,000 for personal property loss. D. $200,000 for property damage and $5,000 for personal property loss. Answer A. $200,000 for property damage and $10,000 for personal property loss. Explanation: the insurer will pay for property damage up to the policy limit of $500,000, but the homeowner only incurred $200,000 in damage, so the insurer will pay that amount. The personal property loss is capped at $10,000, which is the policy's limit for that coverage, so the insurer will pay only $10,000 for personal property loss. Question 15, scenario-based. An insured in Wyoming has a business insurance policy that covers fire damage. The insured submits a claim for a fire loss caused by faulty wiring. After the investigation, the adjuster discovers that the insured did not maintain the building according to safety standards, which may have contributed to the fire. What should the adjuster do? A. Deny the claim outright due to the insured's negligence. B. Pay the claim in full as fire damage is always covered under the policy. C. Investigate further as the claim may still be valid, but apply any policy exclusions if applicable. D. Reduce the payout by 50% due to the insured's lack of maintenance. Answer: C. Investigate further as the claim may still be valid, but apply any policy exclusions if applicable. Explanation: the adjuster should not immediately deny the claim, but instead investigate whether the policy's exclusions for negligence or failure to maintain the property apply. If negligence is confirmed but it doesn't fall under an exclusion, the claim could still be valid, but the insurer may adjust the payout based on the findings. Option B is incorrect because negligence could affect coverage, and option D is incorrect because a percentage reduction isn't typically applied based on maintenance issues unless explicitly stated in the policy. Question 16. The Wyoming property owner has a flood insurance policy that covers up to $250,000 in damage to the structure of their home and $100,000 for personal property. If the insured experiences $200,000 in structural damage and $120,000 in personal property damage, what is the maximum amount the insurer will pay? A. $320,000. B. $250,000. C. $200,000. D. $350,000. Answer: A. $320,000. Explanation: the insurer will pay up to $250,000 for the structure and $100,000 for personal property for a total of $320,000. The policy limits apply to each type of coverage, and the insured can receive the full payout up to those respective limits. Question 17. Scenario-based. An insured in Wyoming is in the process of filing a claim for a fire loss. The insured's policy has a $1,000 deductible and the total damage from the fire is $5,000. However, the insured also has a separate policy with another insurer covering the same property for fire damage. What should the adjuster do? A. Deny the claim as the insured has duplicate coverage. B. Pay the full $5,000 minus the deductible and coordinate with the second insurer. C. Pay the full $5,000 without applying the deductible due to the second policy. D. Work with the other insurer to settle the claim jointly for the full amount. Answer: B. Pay the full $5,000 minus the deductible and coordinate with the second insurer. Explanation: the insurer will pay the amount of the loss minus the deductible, in this case $5,000 minus $1,000 equals $4,000. The adjuster will need to coordinate with the second insurer to determine how the two policies will respond to the loss. Both insurers are likely to contribute a share of the payout, and each will be responsible for its proportion of the damage. Question 18. A policyholder in Wyoming has a life insurance policy with a $500,000 death benefit. The insured dies due to a heart attack while engaging in a high-risk activity, which is excluded under the terms of the policy. What is the likely outcome for the claim? A. The insurer will pay the full $500,000 benefit as death benefits are typically paid without exception. B. The insurer will deny the claim entirely as high-risk activities are excluded from coverage. C. The insurer will pay a partial amount of the death benefit as heart attacks are generally covered. D. The insurer will pay the full benefit but may later sue the beneficiary for fraud. Answer: B. The insurer will deny the claim entirely as high-risk activities are excluded from coverage. Explanation: most life insurance policies contain exclusions for deaths caused by specific activities deemed high risky, g. extreme sports, dangerous hobbies. If the insured's death is caused by such an excluded activity, the insurer is likely to deny the claim. The policy may have a clause specifically excluding death due to participation in high-risk activities, in which case the insurer will not pay the death benefit. Options A and C are incorrect as they do not account for the specific exclusion in the policy. Option D is unlikely unless there was evidence of fraud, which is not indicated in this scenario. Question 19. In Wyoming, if a policyholder's auto is damaged by a flood, which type of auto insurance coverage would apply? A. Collision coverage. B. Liability coverage. C. Uninsured motorist coverage. D. Comprehensive coverage. Answer: D. Comprehensive coverage. Explanation: comprehensive auto insurance coverage typically protects against damages not caused by a collision such as natural disasters, e.g. floods, fires, theft and vandalism. Collision coverage applies only to damages resulting from an accident with another vehicle or object, while liability coverage addresses damages the insured is responsible for to other parties, Uninsured motorist coverage is irrelevant in this context, as it applies to injuries or damages caused by uninsured drivers, not natural events like floods. Question 20. Which of the following is considered an ethical responsibility of an adjuster in Wyoming? A. Prioritizing company interests over fair claims settlement. B. Ensuring timely investigation and settlement of claims. C. Minimizing claim payouts to increase company profits. D. Sharing confidential client information with third parties. Answer: B. Ensuring timely investigation and settlement of claims. Explanation: adjusters are ethically bound to handle claims in a fair, prompt, and efficient manner. Wyoming requires adjusters to act with integrity, which includes timely claim processing, prioritizing company interests, option A, or minimizing payouts, option C, at the expense of fairness, breaches ethical standards while sharing confidential information, option D, is a violation of privacy and ethics laws. Question 21, scenario-based. Jennifer's home in Wyoming sustained significant fire damage. She filed a claim with her insurance company, but during the investigation, the adjuster found evidence that the fire might have been intentionally set. What should the adjuster do next? A. Immediately deny the claim due to suspected fraud. B. File a lawsuit against Jennifer for suspected arson. C. Complete the thorough investigation and report findings to the insurer. D. Pay the claim, as the suspicion alone is not enough to deny coverage. Answer: C. Complete a thorough investigation and report findings to the insurer. Explanation: in cases of suspected fraud, an adjuster must follow procedures to conduct a complete investigation and report findings to the insurance company. Adjusters cannot deny claims solely on suspicion, and they need substantial evidence. Options A and B would be premature actions, while option D disregards the adjuster's duty to investigate possible fraud. Question 22. Under Wyoming law, an insured's insurable interest must be present at what time for a claim to be valid? A. Only at the inception of the policy. B. At both the time of policy inception and at the time of loss. C. Only at the time of the loss. D. Never. It's irrelevant in Wyoming law. Answer: C. Only at the time of the loss. The explanation: for property insurance in Wyoming, the insured must have an insurable interest at the time of loss for a claim to be valid. This prevents individuals from profiting from losses of property they do not own or have a legitimate interest in at the time of damage. Options A and B misinterpret the timing requirement, and D is incorrect, as Wyoming law does recognize insurable interest. Question 23. In Wyoming, which of the following is NOT typically covered under commercial general liability CGL policy? A. Property damage caused by the insured's operations. B. Bodily injury caused by defective products sold by the insured. C. Damage to the insured's own property. D. Medical payments for injuries sustained by third parties. Answer: C. Damage to the insured's own property. Explanation: a CGL policy generally covers bodily injury and property damage caused by the insured to third parties, along with medical payments for injuries to third parties. However, it does not cover damages to the insured's own property, which would fall under property insurance rather than liability insurance. Options A, B, and D are valid CGL coverages. Question 24. An insurance adjuster in Wyoming is conducting an investigation of a property loss claim and discovers that the damage was pre-existing. How should the adjuster handle this information? A. Report the finding to the insurance company and deny the claim based on pre-existing damage. B. Ignore the finding since it's irrelevant to the current claim. C. Report the finding to the insurance company but continue investigating other aspects of the claim. D. Inform the insured and allow them to refile for a different claim type. Answer: C. Report the finding to the insurance company but continue investigating other aspects of the claim. Explanation: an adjuster must provide accurate findings to the insurer, including pre-existing damage, but should also thoroughly investigate the entire claim before making a determination. Denying the claim outright, option A, without completing the investigation may be premature, while option B disregards necessary disclosure requirements. Question 25. What is the primary purpose of a Wyoming adjuster taking statements from witnesses? A. To confirm the insured's account of the incident. B. To collect evidence that solely supports the insurer's interests. C. To gather unbiased accounts for a complete and accurate investigation. D. To build a case against the insured in case of future litigation. Answer: C. To gather unbiased accounts for a complete and accurate investigation. Explanation: an adjuster's role is to perform an impartial investigation. Gathering witness statements should be for the purpose of obtaining an unbiased understanding of the incident. Options A and B indicate bias, which would violate professional standards, and option D misrepresents the adjuster's duty of fair investigation. Question 26. When an adjuster in Wyoming is negotiating a settlement with an insured, which of the following practices is considered unethical? A. Offering a fair and reasonable settlement amount. B. Explaining the policy limits that apply to the claim. C. Using deceptive language to lower the settlement amount. D. Documenting all communications with the insured. Answer C. Using deceptive language to lower the settlement amount. Explanation. Adjusters are bound by ethical standards to communicate honestly and fairly during claim settlement negotiations. Deceptive language, option C, violates these standards, while options A, B, and D are examples of ethical practices in settlement negotiations. Question 27. In Wyoming, which of the following policies would most likely cover loss of income due to temporary business shutdown from fire damage? A. General liability insurance. B. Commercial property insurance. C. Business interruption insurance. D. Workers' compensation insurance. Answer C. Business interruption insurance. Explanation. Business interruption insurance covers income loss resulting from disruptions due to covered damages like fire. Commercial property insurance, option B, would cover the physical damage to the property but not the loss of income. General liability, option A, covers damages caused by the business to third parties, while workers' compensation, option D, covers employee injuries. Question 28. A Wyoming adjuster is reviewing a policy with an actual cash value received clause. What does the ACV method typically account for when valuing a loss? A. The full replacement cost without any depreciation. B. The original purchase price of the damaged property. C. The replacement cost minus depreciation. D. The market value at the time of purchase. Answer C. The replacement cost minus depreciation. Explanation. Actual cash value is generally calculated as the replacement cost of the item minus any depreciation due to age, wear, and tear. This accounts for the current value of the item at the time of loss rather than its full replacement cost, option A, or original purchase price, option B. Option D misinterprets ACV as it does not consider the current market value but rather depreciation. Question 29. In Wyoming, under which circumstance can an insurer legally deny an auto claim? A. The insured was partially at fault for the accident. B. The damage was caused by an excluded event, such as racing. C. The insured provided all requested documentation for the claim. D. The insured was not driving but allowed someone else to use the vehicle. Answer B. The damage was caused by an excluded event, such as racing. Explanation. Insurers can deny claims for damages caused by events specifically excluded in the policy, such as racing. Option A is incorrect because partial fault does not invalidate coverage in most cases. Options C and D do not provide grounds for claim denial, as they do not involve policy exclusions or breaches. Question 30. A Wyoming policyholder files a claim for water damage to their home due to a burst pipe. During the investigation, the adjuster discovers that the policyholder had not performed routine maintenance on the pipes, which were visibly corroded. How should the adjuster handle this claim? A. Deny the claim outright due to lack of maintenance. B. Approve the claim since burst pipes are covered regardless of maintenance issues. C. Investigate further and determine if the damage resulted primarily from the policyholder's negligence. D. Pay a partial amount for the claim to cover some of the repair costs. Answer C. Investigate further and determine if the damage resulted primarily from the policyholder's negligence. Explanation. The adjuster's role is to conduct a thorough investigation to determine the cause of the damage. In cases where lack of maintenance could have contributed to the incident, further analysis is needed to assess whether the damage was primarily due to neglect, which could impact claim approval. Option A is incorrect because an immediate denial would be premature. Option B disregards the potential effect of negligence on coverage, and option D lacks a clear basis for partial payment without full investigation.